Last year, big season, 1,000 yards. Mm-hmm. This franchise in the past has had a couple of receivers have great rookie seasons and then sophomore slumps, and that's happened around the league too. Mm-hmm. Why is that not going to happen with Mike Evans this year?
One, Mike's just he's a great talent. You know what I mean? He's a big kid, but he works hard at his craft, and you can tell that he wants to continue to improve. By no means that I see at the end of that season or even starting up early in this offseason that any kind of complacency with him. He's hungry.
And to this day, Mike Evans is still hungry. Had to just drop that little gem. Just a special shout out and a reminder, rest in peace to Vincent Jackson, a hell of an athlete and a receiver for the Tampa Bay organization, not just there, but also with the Chargers. But just wanted to give people a quick reminder of, the great players that have been in our locker room. Shout out to, again, rest in peace to him, many blessings to his family. But I bring this up because the accomplishment of Mike Evans is amazing. But what I do love about it is we see a lot of the attitude, the mentality, the hunger that Mike Evans has is all the foundation was made with Vincent Jackson. That's one thing that you can always say. When Vincent Jackson came to the Bucs, he went out there and he got things done. He did his job. He wasn't the most flashy person. He just made things happen. He was a force in the locker room and outside of the field. That is what made Vincent Jackson special. And I really do think that when Vincent Jackson came to the, when Vincent Jackson was here and Mike Evans got drafted, that he helped Mike Evans get that professionalism down and to stay hungry in the grind. I tell you guys, 2014, 2015, it was a pleasure watching both of those receivers play. Vincent was hurt sometimes, but that's one of the greatest memories that I have of watching those two is the Steelers game when we were in Heinz Field. Mike Glennon marched down the field. First, that was Mike Evans' first touchdown of his career against the Steelers. And then Vincent Jackson had the game-winning touchdown. Man, that was just great. That was greatness at its finest. But again, thank you guys again for. I just had to make a little something special. Like I said, a great shout out to not only Mike Evans but the great Vincent Jackson. I still rock his jersey to this day. But today it is about the Buccaneers and the Commanders. It's a playoff game. It's serious. It's serious today. We got a lot of things going on, and it's an important game. However, it is at this point what I want to reiterate. It is for the Bucs to lose, not for the Commanders to win. Why do I say that? Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the better team overall. Do not allow the media to mislead you. They're making comments about Jaden Daniels and the Commanders because it's for ratings. Real people who play the game of football and who know it and have the knowledge understand the Buccaneers team might not be as popular or hot because it's a Washington, D.C. team, but the Bucs are the better team, not just on the offensive side, but even the defensive side. Let's just start on the defensive side and compare. Bobby Wagner, he is a shell of himself. Yes. Does he lead the league in tackling? Probably, but he's a stat pattern. He is not what he used to be. Luvu is a good guy. If anything, Luvu would be the most dominant linebacker on their team, in my opinion. But they got a solid defensive front. Secondary is still questionable, even with Lattimore and the other guy they're talking about that's a rookie. They don't have a Vita Vea. They don't have a Cansey. They don't have an Antoine Winfield. They don't have Levante David. I don't care what anybody says. Levante has played at a higher level than Bobby Wagner. So the Bucs have the pieces. It's all about the scheme. If the Bucs if Bowles and this defense play the correct scheme today, they will make things happen. Now, let's get on the offensive side. For people out there, Baker Mayfield is the better quarterback than Jaden Daniels, and that's it. There is no comparison. Jaden Daniels is a rookie. Yes. Does he have electrifying moments throughout the season? He sure has. So has Baker. Is it exciting to see a team come back from nothing when they weren't in the playoffs to looking good now? Yes. But this Tampa Bay Bucs team has been there 5 years straight now. It's time for the media to really put some respect, not just for it's not just the pat the people's back, but this is football. You're supposed to be a fan of football first, then the teams. So you just got to tell it how it is. The Bucs are a good team. 10 wins. They're in there. So the Bucs overall, with Baker as the better quarterback, the Bucs have the better running backs. The Bucs have the better receivers. The Bucs have the better tight ends overall. This team has a lot of depth. Now, no matter what the media tells you, again, Terry McLaurin is not Mike Evans. They don't have running backs. There's a reason why Jaden Daniels is the leading rusher. When your quarterback is the leading rusher, that's not a good thing. Why do you think Lamar Jackson understood that and he developed his game? And they also went out and got Derrick Henry. You don't want to put your quarterback in that predicament when the playoffs come, because by then every team is ready for it. That's what a lot of Commander fans are not understanding. We're not taking anything away from Jaden Daniels. We're not saying that he's not going to be good. We're not saying any of those things. We're not saying that the Commanders are just a sorry team and we're just going to walk all over them. However, this Buccaneers team is not a team that you think that you're barely going to, that the Commanders just going to walk in here and just upset with authority. Absolutely not. I don't care what Dan Orlovsky has to say, what Chris Sims has to say. I don't give a damn about what a lot of those guys, what a lot of those analysts, sport analysts tells you, because they're not watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as we do. And for people out there who say, well, how do you watch the Commanders? I do. I'm in the DMV area, so I can watch them. I see them a lot. I know their weaknesses. I know I can see it. But like I said, Bucs are only favored 3 points. I feel that, but again, that's a Vegas financial thing. I don't give a damn about that. How many times have we seen teams favored by a little and they win by a lot, and vice versa? They are favored by a lot and they win by a little. That's just football. Don't sleep on Lattimore. Not worried about Lattimore. Secondary better. Who's better defense? Washington fans are so worried about our O-line and the entire defense. Yeah, I'll say this, Chris. I appreciate you all being in there, but Chris made the first statement. You just got to pound the rock. If the Bucs do that, the Bucs are in business. So meanwhile, I want to bring somebody else. I'm going to show you. Make sure you follow this guy right here, Alf Comianar, on the Cañones y Football podcast. He's going to drop some gems, and I'll get right back to you all.
Queridísimos amigos de Bucs Report, welcome to our weekly breakdown. This Sunday, the Buccaneers take on the Washington Commanders in a must-win game. These are the playoffs. These are the wild cards weekend. So let's talk about how we can come out on top with our classic formula, all 4 downs to victory, all 2-minute warning. Let's dive in. First down. Do what we do best. It's run the ball. The backside when our ground game takes charge. Why? With the Rashad White, with Son Tucker and Bucky Irving, we have a backfield that can wear down any defense. And with a solid O-line protection, Baker Mayfield will have the time to hit those safe, smart passes we all love see, like Mike Evans. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Mike Evans. Wow. Second down, defense must stay sharp. We can't afford any defensive lapses. The Commanders might not look scary on paper, but their offense can surprise. Our front seven, led by Jaya Diaby, Karija Kansi, might stay aggressive. No missed tackle, no soft coverage. We need to dominate every snap. And third down, manage the clock. Time management can make or break the game. Todd Bowles needs to be sharp with timeout challenge and pacing. Controlling the clock not only helps us dictate the game, but ensures we can close it out strong. Every second matters in tight matchup like this. And fourth down, be ready to adjust. In NFL, plans rarely go perfectly. That's why adaptability is the key. Todd Bowles has shown he can adjust on the fly, and this game will demand it. Whether it's a halftime or after a sudden momentum shift, we need to stay flexible and keep the Commanders on their heels. If we execute these four downs, establishing the run, staying aggressive on defense, managing the clock, and adapting to challenge, I have no doubt the Bucs will walk away victorious. So let's go Bucs. Sunday, it's our time to shine. My prediction, Bucs 27, Commanders 20, fire those cannons, boom, boom, boom.
That's right. Fire those cannons. Boom, boom, boom. Again, Alf Cañones y Football Podcast. Shout out to Buck fans from Spain. Shout out to all the Buck fans all over the world. Today, we're going to need everybody. We all have to come together and put our support in for this team because this is an important game. But he broke down the gems of victory on the defensive side. I do like that Christopher said this. What you say? We have to Phil. Yes, this is good. Bucs raised. The Bucs must contain Jaden Daniels. Absolutely. So that's why I said the Bucs have the far more advantage because the Commanders overall do not have as much offensive firepower like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As we know, this is what the Bucs need to do on defense. Yes, containing and stopping Jaden Daniels is priority number one. Now, I think, in my personal opinion, early, we need to be aggressive. Coach Slick from Bucs Report The Aftermath, 102.9 Game Broad Street South Radio, talks about this, and he had a great design, in my opinion, that I do think that could work, is the overload blitz. Now, what people don't understand about the overload blitz, what does that mean to people out there who don't know the game of football? So the thing about Jaden Daniels is typically if you play too much man coverage, the corners are going to have their backs turned and they're not going to be able to they're going to be watching the receivers if they take off, and that gives Jaden Daniels a lane to open, usually through the A or B gap, and he can make you pay by just running up the middle and gaining those yards. You see what I'm saying? That's what he can do. Or he can also break out of the pocket and move either way just in case, and he can get out that way. However, if you do an overload blitz, you can dictate where he goes. Now, personally, you dictate on the side where he has to turn away from his strength in running and throwing the ball to where if he has to throw a ball, it's going to be across his body. And everybody knows football 101, throwing across your body typically in the NFL is a no-no for a quarterback because that's how interceptions happen. So that would be a great idea that Slick has said. And I do agree with that scheme. We should do an overload blitz. I'd say do it from the right side and make him struggle, make him have to run to where we can contain him and to where the receivers are going to have to be on their top game. I'm not too necessarily worried about McLaurin. Do I think he's a good receiver? Do I think he's a good talent? Yes. However, he can be beaten. if you take him out early, I can sense frustration. Also, I think, in my personal opinion, Bowles has to get those rotation players in there to keep the defense fresh. So let's say if the defense is stuck out on the field a little longer, you got to get those young guys in. We need to see more Broswell. I think Broswell, and I continue to say this, I said this in the beginning of the season, I think this is the time where Broswell will shine. I think Broswell will be able to make a major impact throughout the playoffs. Why? Because now he has the entire NFL season under his belt. That means the game has slowed down, and I think he'll be able to take that leap when we need to. Am I saying he's going to be a 5 to 6 sack guy throughout the playoffs if we get there? Possibly, but not really. But I see him making enough impact where he pressures quarterbacks and take them off their game to where they cannot throw the ball like they would want to. Also, Anthony Nelson, another solid individual. I honestly if I see Joe Trushanka in there, I don't want him to be the starter, but I do think that he can make things happen when the pressure isn't on him to being the starter. We need Shaq Barrett in there as a situational. So we have the pieces. We want to make things much easier for the defensive line, because I haven't even gotten to that, but guys like Yaya are going to have to step up. If we don't do an overload blitz and we're backing out in coverage, we definitely need the front four to make something happen. So we want to get the outside edges in there, so if he has to run out of the pocket, he has nowhere to go. Honestly, this is a game where Vita Vea and Canty, I do think that they can thrive, because this is a Commanders offense that is not their line is not as good as people think it is. It just looks that way because Jaden Daniels gets out of the pocket and he extends the plays. But I do think that the Bucs front seven can make things happen. I want to reiterate, though, that this Bucs edge rushers will have to step up. Yaya, Chris Broswell, Joe Trushanka, Shaq Barrett. I think Shaq Barrett can instill wisdom to these guys on how to know when to bull rush and also know when to use fundamental techniques. There's a lot, but the most important thing that I think Bowles must do, that is imperative, is to keep the pass rushers fresh. And I do think when you have different players rotating, that can put a lot of pressure on this offensive line to contain, because everybody is special in their own way. We all know Joe Trushanka is all gas, no brakes, as Louis would say, and we're going to be seeing him in a moment. We know that, but you also have guys like Broswell who can do both too, who has a good jump off, and he could be a good bull rusher. Then you have to deal with Shaq Barrett, who is a fundamental specialist, who can he doesn't have to beat you necessarily with his speed or strength, but he can beat you with technique. Yaya Diaby, we really need to see a lot more of him. He's been picking up strong at the end of the season, so that's good. And like I said, again, hopefully Broswell can do the same thing, because as we saw McMillan on the other side, he picked his game up as the season was coming to an end. I'm hoping Broswell can replicate that kind of progress. Now in the trenches, Vita is going to be hard to contain. So if he gets doubled, we are going to need Canty to take full advantage. As you can see, I'm more worried about the Bucs getting something done in the pass, not the run. I do think that we'll be able to contain the run, because Eckler does not scare me, because he is not the same Eckler that we have seen before, that we've seen in the past tense. Robinson's inconsistent. I think their other running back, Rodriguez, he's good, but I just don't see the running game as threatening against our run defense. And then I had to bring this up because you know me. The last, but certainly not least, the most important thing for this Bucs secondary is to not do this shit. We do not need to see this type of coverage, and you guys are already knowing. So I would like to warn women and children, viewer discretion is advised. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we cannot see. Right there, all that space. We do not need to see all that space, especially early. This is a game, Bowles, where you're going to have to want to punch them in the mouth first. You have to be aggressive early, take them out of their rhythm. We do not want this offense to get in any kind of rhythm. It is very important that this Bucs defense takes Jaden Daniels and this Commanders offense out of rhythm. And you cannot do that by cushion coverage. The word is out there, ladies and gentlemen. I've been saying this for years. Slick has been saying this for years. The dude has been saying this for years. Louis has been saying it this past season. The Buccaneers cannot afford to play soft cushion coverage. Dan Orlowski has said it. Chris Sims said it. All those people have been saying what I've been saying for years. Cushion coverage for this Bucs defense equals bad things happening. We have got to play further up. As if you don't know, the Commanders thrive on throwing the short passes. Take it away. Make things easier, because I can't guarantee, but I have a feeling that a lot of our injuries in the secondary are due to basically the secondary, the safeties and corners having to run an extra 8 yards to make a tackle on a receiver, and that doesn't help. So I honestly think that it is imperative that this Bucs defense, they must get those 3 and outs early. If they get the 3 and outs early, that makes things easier for our offense. That means I'm going to look through some of the comments. Yes, Bucs need to flex their muscles, should win by 7-14. I said that already, JT. My prediction, I said, is 34-20, but we'll break that down. I appreciate you, JT. Always good to hear from you. Let's see. 5 Buccaneers, Cade Otton, Winfield, Dean, Logan Hall are all questionable for the next game, but they're all expected to play. That's right. Breaking news. Don't sleep on JTS. He's going to be a major factor. JT Olsen, I hope you're right. I do think that on defense that everybody is going to have to play their part. I would love for JT to be good and get to Jaden Daniels. I hope so. I really do. Eagles need to contain today. Edges need to contain today. Yes, the edges do need to contain. JT, I just talked about that. Yaya, Broswell, Shaq Barrett. I want to see Shaq Barrett in on a 3rd and short or a 3rd and long, because I do think he can make but I also want to see him getting in on 2nd down sometimes too, because we need Shaq Barrett to get his NFL lungs back. So he needs to be in he needs to get at least 15 to 20 snaps, in my personal opinion, because we're going to need everybody on deck. We want to keep this offense limited. And like I said, secondary has got to get our cornerbacks, despite what people say about Dean, and he does get on my nerves too, but Dean and Zion, I think, are built for more physical man press coverage, because again, we want to disrupt the timing between the quarterbacks and the receiver. Jaden Daniels has one top receiver. We take everybody else away. It makes things easier. Zach Ertz, I think he's good too, but I like the matchup with Levante David. But no further ado, guys, we got somebody else in here, a special guest that I want to bring in. Like I said, the man has already spoken and said from the beginning that this offense will have to carry us. And since we're going to be talking about the offensive side of the ball in a second, let's bring him on, because he drops gems. What's going on, Louis? How you living?
I'm living good, man. It's fucking football Sunday, wild card Sunday. We got Bucks, Commanders. Was kind of talking shit early on in the morning to a good friend of mine, Dino, who is a Commanders fan. He was born and raised in DC, so these are always fun when the opposing team of your friend that you guys are facing off in the playoffs. But it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. How we doing, AJ?
We doing all right, man. Just in here, just dropping gems. Just talking about the key factors to the victory. Now, I talked about the defensive side, and you can talk that over with me too if you like. I just said the edge rushers, the linebacking core is going to have to kick ass today. We talked about this before, guys. If you checked it out on the Frozen Pirate, we said it the other day. I think that rotation needs to happen. We need to have our defense as fresh as possible. We need to have the guys out there being able to run at full force, pin their ears back. We cannot allow our defensive players to get tired. So you need to rotate and have guys come in. Broswell, Shaq Barrett, Yaya Diaby, JTS, because we know in the trenches, Vita Vea and Canty are going to do their part.
I'm curious. I would like to see a lot of Diaby and Braswell a lot, and I'm going to stick by this. I want to see Diaby on JD's blind side. I think that's the best bet for the Buccaneers. Just because Yaya can match Jaden Daniels' speed, in my opinion. He can. Um, and another thing too, I'd like to see. I want to see creativity. If you guys remember from what I was saying early on in the week, I want to see more creativity from Todd Bowles. I want to see. I'd be very curious to see Yaya Diaby and Shaq Barrett, and I'd like to see JTS playing on the inside with Levante David, but as a blitz package. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Um, I think I think Joe Tryon Shawinka has the speed because he's running straight to the quarterback instead of taking an angle. What do we keep saying? All gas, no brakes, can't wrap him up from the edge. So I'm curious to see JTS maybe in the inside. I don't know if we're gonna see that, but it's just an idea. You never know who's listening. I agree too. No more cushion coverage. You can't do that. You got to get physical with these guys. The Commanders, it was a pretty impressive game that they had against the Eagles. I mean, what did JD have? What, five turnovers in that game, and they still came back.
Yes.
I commend them for that. But this is a whole different ball game now. This is going to be an interesting game. I think this is a game. It's I don't really know how it's gonna go just because we played them week one, and I've said this before. This is two different teams. I think the Buccaneers have a better team. We cannot. A key thing for the offense is we cannot start off flat. You cannot start off flat, coming out flat against this team. You got to put up points. You got to put up points early. And what's a more flustering thing for a rookie quarterback? Pressure and playing from behind. Now you're getting pressured. You're playing from behind in a playoff game at Ray J. And I saw them passing out the flags, and I know that stadium's gonna be rocking. It's gonna be loud there. So, but the crowd too. The crowd's got to get involved early on, early. I just want to see the Bucs play a good football game, and I expect the good news is everybody that was questionable for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is playing this game. So I'm pretty excited to see Winfield out there. But I agree with you 110%. We got to rotate the defense. You got to rotate these guys. You have plenty of depth there. You got to rotate these guys, keep them fresh, and the offense needs to keep the Commanders' defense on the field, and that's how you keep our defense fresh.
Amen. Guys, did you hear that? Louis broke it down. Offense, you see how much emphasis the Buck fans we're talking about the defense. We're not here to say that this Bucks team is just like a 14-point favorite and we're just supposed to just destroy them. No, we understand that this Bucks defense has holes. However, we have more than enough to handle this team because they don't have enough firepower to hang with us. Now, on the offensive side, Louis is correct. Bucks, your Tampa Bay Bucks, we run the ball as we should. That means Jaden Daniels has to sit on the sideline, which means Jaden Daniels has to what? Get in an offensive rhythm. When they cannot get in an offensive rhythm, that's not a good thing. That leads to pressure, as Louis stated. Pressure is bad for a rookie quarterback because now if they're down, he's going to want to play hero ball because he's going to try to put the game on his back. And that's not how it always works in football. Good intentions are good. Yep. That leads to turnovers.
Yep.
Exactly. That can lead to turnovers. And also, if your offense is still out of whack, you might not have enough time. Buck fans, if we score, let's say if the Bucks, Louis, first possession, we march down the field, but we chew off 5 minutes, and then we score a touchdown. Then we get a quick 3 and out, and then we score on the next drive, and we drop. Let's say we burn another 3.5 minutes. You talking about basically the end of the first quarter already, and you're down 14. That's a lot for a rookie to come back from.
Yeah, I mean it's no easy task, and we've seen in the past couple of weeks, Todd Bowles' defense has really turned it up, especially in the second half. So look, Jaden Daniels is going to get those runs.
Yes.
I completely understand that. He's going to get those runs. He's going to get those yards. But I don't want to see touchdowns coming out of it. I bend, but don't break. It's okay if they give up the field goals. Tampa can't be playing for field goals. They have to put up points. And I'm confident in Baker Mayfield. And I'm going to call it right now. I think one guy is going to finally wake up. He did it last year in the playoffs in the wild card against the Eagles. I'm calling for Trey Palmer to have at least one big play in this game. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to try and put that good juju out there. I'm looking for Trey Palmer to have a big kickoff return of some sort. I'm going to call it right now. I feel it. Because
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of feel that stadium tonight, and I want everybody to pay attention to that tonight. That stadium tonight is going to be fucking rocking, dude. And I'm telling you, and I think the players are going to feed off that momentum. And curious to see how the first couple of drives in this game, the first quarter is really going to tell us what we need to know about both teams, I feel, in my opinion.
Agree 100%. And you're right about the Palmer situation. I know people have given up on him, but I do think that this will be a game. Yeah, I think this is a game where they're going to be, let's be real. Commanders' priority, they already know, is to stop Mike Evans, which I don't think they'll succeed in, stop Bucky Irvin, and pressure Baker Mayfield. But that's the beauty of our team, Louis. We have so many secret gems that they're not going to be able to handle all of that, because we didn't even talk about what McMillan can do. We didn't talk about, hey, Cade Otton is back. We didn't even forget to mention that Devin Cope can be a factor. Payne Durham.
I think the tight ends are gonna have a big game this tonight.
Yes,
that's my opinion. I think the tight ends are gonna have a big game tonight, and I don't want and if that does happen, I don't want people to be like, oh, what happened to Jalen McMillan? Listen, it's okay. I think that I'm very confident in Todd Bowles. I'm very confident in Liam Cohen, in their game plan tonight. It's looking like did Liam Cohen get that interview yet with the Jaguars or?
I think he's only had one interview, but I don't think it's come up yet.
That's a good sign for us. I mean, I don't think he'll take that Jacksonville job. And like I said, this team is special. I've said it at the beginning of the season. I said this team, I mean, I know it didn't reflect early on, but this Buccaneer team has a lot of depth. And I know it didn't really look like that in the beginning. But now these guys all have the experience, the rookies, the second-year guys, they have the reps in. Now a guy like Jalen McMillan has come on towards the end of the season. There was a point where we kind of got a little nervous, like, where is he? Why isn't him and Baker having a good rapport together? Why don't they have the chemistry? And now look, we're seeing something special there. And again, you have Mike Evans, you have Jalen McMillan, you have Sterling Shepard. I think Sterling Shepard kind of reminds me of remember when Chris Godwin, that year with Brady, the first year with Brady, Godwin had a hands problem. He kind of, like, that one game, it was against the Commanders. He had a couple of drops, and then he fucking redeemed himself in the Packers game and stuff like that, and he redeemed himself in the Super Bowl. I feel like that's what's going to happen with Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard had a couple of bad drops throughout the season, towards the back end of the season. I think he's another guy to look out for. I think that's a guy that the Commanders really don't respect on the offensive side of the ball for the Buccaneers. But they're going to fuck around and find out today that guys like Sean Tucker, guys like Rashad White, guys like Sterling Shepard are depth players, man. And I love Sterling. I think what he does, how he riles up that receiving room, how he riles up the guys, his energy, I think that's what the Buccaneers need, especially on a night like tonight at 8:30 p.m. at Ray J. It's going to be fucking rocking, dude. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a hell of a game to watch.
It's going to be a hell of a game, and I'm glad that you brought up people like Sean Tucker, because for Buck fans, we already know, as much as we're talking about playing aggressive, the Commanders are going to want to play aggressive as well. This is where the genius of Liam Cohen is going to come in, because I look at it like this, Louis. If they don't come out and they're not aggressive by loading the box, so you're still worried about us passing? Run the ball down their damn throats. Run it down their throats. Now, I will say this, Louis, for Baker and Cohen, if you want to overstack the box, okay, Evans or whoever's out there, Otten, we're going to do a simple rollout or a play action, throw it over your heads. They don't have the linebackers that are great in coverage.
Yeah, like I agree. Early on in the game, you got to establish the running game right away. Make them fucking creep up into the box, and that's when you fucking throw it over the top to a guy like Evans. I honestly don't think Lattimore can keep up with Evans because of the. I mean, outside of the hatred, I respect Lattimore as a player. I think he's a good defensive back. I mean, if I don't know, like if how can I put it? Lattimore is not the same player that he was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, in my opinion. If he was, the Saints would have kept him. You don't just get rid of defensive guys, and I get they're in salary cap hell and they got to rebuild, but you don't just get rid of one of your top corners. You know what I'm saying? That can possibly mentor your new guys coming in next year for the year. Lattimore is not the same corner anymore. He's
No.
taken a couple of steps back. You know, and everybody's hyping up this Marshawn Lattimore and Evans. I don't even really think we're gonna see much of that, to be honest with you. If the
I agree.
Commanders know what's good for them, I think they're gonna try and test Mike early on, and I
Yes.
think that's when fucking Baker's gonna beat him over the top, and I think they're gonna be like, okay, we gotta. I think the Commanders are gonna be doing a lot of adjustments, especially at the half.
Agreed.
I predicted a 28-16 score, in my opinion. I say 28 points by the Bucs, 16 by the Commanders. I think they could be a couple of turnovers, maybe a fumble, maybe an interception. I think early in the first quarter, I think it's just gonna kind of be like I think both teams are gonna feel each other out, and I think the Buccaneers are gonna start to pull away a little bit. But then again, I could be wrong. That's why it's called a prediction.
No worries.
That's
No
why it's
worries.
called a prediction, man.
I'm with you with the Lattimore thing because people are like, they think, put it this way. Evans is on a mission. If anyone who has who is going to put more emphasis on this, it will be Lattimore. Remember, everyone, he doesn't have a Super Bowl. Again, he's a player that nobody's really trying to mention anymore. He needs Evans to be brought up. So Evans is a Super Bowl champion already. Evans wants to chase he wants to go for another ring. So with that being said, if Lattimore is over aggressive, Louis, I think people forget this is not the NFC South anymore. This is playoffs. They're not going to be worrying about that shit. They're going to, if he gets over aggressive, that flag is coming out. If he does the most where he's pushing Evans, that flag is coming out. And they can't afford it. Like you just said, Louis, the Commanders cannot afford penalties because then, okay, you think you want to take out Evans? We'll just run the ball down your throat or we'll throw it to somebody else. This is a game, if Evans gets 40 yards, but the Bucs win, he's not going to care. Lattimore might care. Well, I stopped Evans. Okay, but you're going home. So I think that, I just don't think that Lattimore is, like you said, physically, that hammy instrument. If I'm them, I'd do a play where, okay, Evans, do a go route and test that hammy, or do a deep slant and test that hammy.
I'd like to see Lattimore up against McMillan. I would like to see a matchup like that. I'd like to see the Buccaneers they got to use a lot of motion. And again, I think the Commanders are going to try and come out to be physical right away on defense, and I feel like it's going to cost them. And that's when you got to go to Mike, and you got, like what you just said, you got to go to Mike, and you got to get those. Do you know who leads the league in passing interference calls going their way throughout the past?
Bucs?
I think 10 years. It's Mike Evans.
That's right.
Defensive pass and interference, he leads the league, and I think the past 8 or 9 years or something like that. Shout out to my co-host Jamie on Around the NFL. He's like our stat guy. He's like fucking. His brain is like a computer. He pulls out the most random fucking stats, and you're like, holy shit, I never knew that. He also pulled out another stat, and this pertains to the Buccaneers. Out of every Super Bowl team that has won the Super Bowl, the team who has the offensive line that's played together for more than 5 years has won a Super Bowl. So shout out to him. Dude, he comes up with these crazy stats. And I go back and I look them up and they check out and they're legit. But outside of that, I will say this. For every team in the NFC, when they found out that the Buccaneers were got into the playoffs, they were scared.
Yes.
Everybody's scared. Secretly, deep down inside, a lot of teams in the NFC, don't want to face this Buccaneer team.
No,
I'll go ahead and say it. I don't think Philly wants to see this Buccaneer team.
not at
I
all.
don't think I think the Commanders do because obviously they're young. You know how the young Bucks go. They got the
Right.
egos. They got, we can do this. Just ask Chase Young what happened that year when he said he wanted Tom and the Bucks. Okay.
Yep.
You don't really see too many people calling out the Bucks. Nobody. I don't think anybody wants to really see the Bucks. Like the Lions. The Lions. I respect the Lions, but that team in itself, they're banged up. Like we already handled you. What was it, week 3? We
Week
already
2.
handled you week 3. We'll handle you now. You're down a couple of guys. We'll handle you again. As a Bucks fan, I'm not afraid of anybody in the NFC. I'm not,
Me
because
neither.
overall, I think our record does not reflect who this team really is. And a lot of people are gonna find out who this team is, man. I'm telling you right now. I think we're probably one of the best teams coming out of the NFC, and I'm not afraid of anybody in the AFC neither.
I feel you, Louis, but I think a lot of people don't understand regular season records don't always define what happens in the playoffs.
Hey, just ask the '07 New England Patriots.
Yeah,
They went undefeated. And who did they play? They
the
went up
Giants.
against the Giants, who were 8-8. They weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs.
Well,
They
yeah,
just
they got there
fucking
10-6, but I see what
Oh,
you're
was it
saying.
10-6?
They were 10 and
Yeah.
6, but that's still, like you said, 10-6 though. Nobody expected to see the Giants do that.
No. You know what I'm saying? They were a fucking underdog. That's why I'm saying any given Sunday, that's been the motto this year. And every week we've been the underdog so far. Every week we hear, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the media coverage in Tampa, I respect a lot of those guys. Some of those guys really know what they're talking about. But outside of Tampa, the 813, the true Buck fans who cover this team, they know what they're talking about. But when you start seeing like on ESPN, and I can't even tell you the last time I watched ESPN, like you see all we never get the respect. We never get anything, So I guess people are just gonna find out who the fuck we really are, man. And I can't emphasize that enough. I can't stop saying that because it just bothers me, because Baker Mayfield had one of the best seasons this year for a quarterback outside of Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. He's right up there. Sorry, he had a
Mhm.
better year than Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he had the 12 touchdowns, rushing and shit like that. I get that. And it's the Bills. They're like the darling. Oh, look, we put each other through tables. Well, guess what, buddy? This isn't WWF. This is fucking professional football. I don't give a shit about all that. Um, you know, so it's. I know I'm kind of getting off topic here, but I'm just fired up this Sunday morning, man. I went on my phone and I seen the shout out to the Buccaneers media team that does those hype videos, man. I
Yes.
fucking seen one of them videos, man. I posted it onto the story. Go check me out on the Frozen Pirate podcast on Instagram. I posted it right on the story, man. If that doesn't get you pumped up for today's game, I don't know what will, man. It
Yeah,
sucks that it's at
absolutely.
8:30. It sucks
Yeah,
that it's
but
at
you
8:30.
you called
But
it, Louis. Again, I don't. Yeah, I'm with you. When people go by records, your beloved Bucks went to the Super Bowl at 11-5. They didn't win the division, but when they got in the playoffs, we were dangerous. Louis is right, fellas. Those NFL teams, they can say what they want on camera, but behind the scenes, they're probably like shit. They just
don't
had to get in this damn playoffs. Now we got to worry because pound for pound, this Bucks team can match up with any of these guys. Eagles, nobody's really worried about the Eagles because we know Jalen Hurts' resume at the end of the day. If
time I checked, we dog walked their ass last year.
we
So
dog walked them, and we did that without a running game. Can you imagine what this Bucks team can do with a run game? Now,
that's what I'm saying.
Detroit, again, they are injury prone, but at the same time, Bowles handled them, and we did that without Antoine Winfield and Kalijah Kancey, and when Vita Vea went out. So there is this team when it comes to the Bucks, people. We were not worried about the talent in the defense. We were pissed off about the scheme because we seen when the Bucks adjust, they get shit done. That's all we want. We want the second half Bucks defense to be the first half. Because Louis, I'm telling you this right now, and I said this: if the Bucks get up 14 early in the first quarter, it will be a blowout. Why? Because Jaden cannot. He's going to want to play hero ball, and then it could be a potential for him. If he runs, he's going to get hit the wrong way. I don't ever want injuries on people, but when you are a running quarterback, that is a risk.
Chance you take. Yeah,
You got to take that chance. And if Jaden goes out just for even 2 series, the Bucks are winning. So this is why, like you said, if I'm the Bucks on offense, drain that fucking clock, Get 7. Get 7, not 3, 7. You get 7, boom. Now you're putting the pressure on this team. You're putting the pressure on Jaden to perform because, again, you can't run forever, Jaden. And like you said,
Right.
Louis, people said this. Louis was right. We're not saying that Jaden ain't gonna run, but it's when he runs and if it'll be worth a damn. I still think Jaden is gonna run for at least 65 yards, but I think it'll be garbage time yards by then. It'll be to the point where you're running, but it's too late. It's too
Yeah,
late,
like
my guy.
I just say the most important thing for the Buccaneers in this game is clock management and special teams.
Yes.
Because special teams, we've seen it. How many teams have lost games because of muffed punts or
Yep.
fumble? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's why I say Trey Palmer has got to be on his A game. I don't know what game. I think it was week 16 or week 15. He was being smart, and then he made a crucial error, but there was a penalty, so it got like. Anyways, they have to be smart on special teams, man. And I think we might be able to break one on special teams. I think they might break a punt. I just have that funny feeling that because, I mean, we're fucking due for one. I mean, how long has it been outside of Michael Spurlock? It's
Peanut did it. And it's been some time.
Yeah, so it's just like I think we're kind of due for one, and there's a lot of energy in that stadium. But again, my whole thing is we have to be smart on special teams. We have to control the clock, good clock management, no errors, no stupid boneheaded penalties like false starts and I mean the holding is gonna be there. That's every fucking game. We know it's gonna be there. But I have a feeling I don't know who the officiating team is this week. I'd have to look into it,
Yeah.
but. I just want to see. I want the refs to just let these guys play their game. You know what I'm saying? And Mike, a lot of people are like, oh, can he control his temper? I think so. I think Mike's gonna have his ego and his emotions in check. He knows what's at stake. We can't afford boneheaded mistakes. I think Marshawn Lattimore is gonna be the antagonizer. That's basically what he's gonna be there for, to antagonize Mike and get him out of his rhythm. But again, I don't think Mike's gonna fall for it. He knows what's at stake. Lattimore doesn't have a fucking clue, and he's taken a couple of steps back. But no boneheaded penalties. Let's just pound the fucking football early on in the game. Let's throw some screens at him. Pound the fucking football. Let him creep up in the box and throw it up big. And you know what I'm saying? You have the guys. You have Trey. Trey's got some speed, man. I want to see a repeat performance from last year. So my eyes are gonna be on Trey Palmer and what he does, and guys like Joe Tryon Shawinka, and because again, these are the guys that are nobodies, and these are the guys that we've lost hope in, and hopefully they can take a step up and really show up for the team. I mean, at the end of the day, uh, if if Joe Tryon Shawinka does show up, I mean, he is still playing for a contract, so it's
Yeah.
still there. But Shaq Barrett being here, I want to see a lot of Shaq and Diaby. I really, really do. I want to see Shaq and Diaby. Those are our speed guys. And I want to see Joe Tryon Shawinka up the middle a little bit. I want to see Todd Bowles throw a little bit of fucking creativity in there, but I don't think he will. But I'm just trying to put it out there into the universe. Maybe it might happen. And if he does, I'm gonna say, hey, you know what? He's listening to the show.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. I want all three of these running backs to get in the fucking trenches. We know Bucky is, and we know Rashard will get there, but you cannot forget about Sean Tucker. He has
No.
the explosiveness. Get all three of their asses on the field at the same time. I want to see this, Louis. Run some spread. Run the
Yeah.
fucking spread. You run a spread on this defense, because remember, Baker can still take off when it's necessary. So now, if I want to see rollouts from Baker, because Baker is devastating when he's throwing on the run. Imagine, like you said, Trey
Yeah, he's
Palmer.
made some special plays on the run. He
Yes,
has.
like Trey Palmer in the slot, or you move him to the outside. Then Evans goes into the slot. Then you have Sterling Shepard on an under shallow crossing route. Then you have McMillan on the outside.
I want to see McMillan up against Bobby Wagner down the middle, because that is
There
such
you
a
go.
fucking mismatch, man. That is
There,
such a mismatch. Even him and Trey, you really got to attack Bobby Wagner here. I mean, I
yes.
respect the hell out of him. He's one of the top tackling guys in the NFL of all time. I respect the hell out of him, but at the end of the day, he's lost a step because due to his age, father time has caught up to him.
Yeah,
You know, but you have to. It's unfortunate, but you know what? You have to take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying?
it's for
And
him.
yeah, you
Their
got to
linebackers
expose
are
him,
not
man.
side to side. They're north and south. They're good
Yes,
at running up the middle, but when you can take them in a crossing route, you can make them, you can hurt them that way. That's why I keep Louis. Everybody knows I love my crossing routes. If you're
I
playing
know.
against linebackers who are
Oh yeah,
mostly north and south, crossing routes takes the wind out of them because now they got to move from side to side, and also you can manipulate other plays. Sometimes, okay, if this linebacker take off to this side, running back, you can run. I need you to run right up the middle here. Boop, a check down. A check down
yeah.
can hurt.
Yeah, and I want to see some fucking. I don't want to see big time plays because again, I want to see. I want this game the way I want the Buccaneers to conduct business on offense is like kind of like, you know, when you watch those Floyd Mayweather fights in the first round, second round, third round, you don't really see much from Mayweather, but the opposing
Yeah,
fighters are a little tired and stuff like that. That's what
yeah.
that's what I want to see the Buccaneers do. I want to see a 6 to 7 minute drive from this Bucs offense. I want them to
Yeah.
completely gas that defense from the Commanders and force Jaden Daniels to win the fucking game for them. That's how
Uh,
you do it. That you gotta get. I'm not. Hey, I'm not shitting on Jaden Daniels by any means. Rookie of the year. He's. What did I say on the show? He's a fucking an infusion of fucking energy to that fucking franchise, and well deserved. And well
yes.
deserved with all the shit they've been through. You're in the DMV. You know all the shit that's happened throughout the years over there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not his time yet.
Not his
Maybe
time.
in years to come. Sure, I'll root for the kid. Because you know I lived for a couple years in the DMV, man. But look, at the end of the day, this is the Tampa Bay fucking Buccaneers, man. This is one of the best offensives I've seen in years,
Yep.
outside of the Tom Brady era. And I know it's not fair to say that, but today, I ride with six. I'm wearing my red Baker Mayfield jersey today. I ride with six. That's my quarterback. And I will say this. This year has been a great year to watch. It's been a very fun year. It's been just as fun as watching that first Tom Brady year. Obviously, you got the Super Bowl that year for us. Great. The second year was great. Third year, not so great. Fucking got a couple of gray hairs on my head because of it. But
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun rooting and cheering for this Buccaneers team this year because, in all reality, we've seen Tom Brady run a couple of times and it was like slow motion, but there's a different vibe with this team in year two with Baker Mayfield. Man, he's a fucking dog, dude. I'm telling
He
you,
is a
man. Like
dog.
nobody's really outside of him. I don't see any other quarterback that's as fired up. You mean to tell me Jalen Hurts is as fired up as fucking Baker Mayfield? Half of the
Nope.
time fucking he don't even look like he wants to be there anymore. Is that
I,
what you wanted to see? Is that what you
I, I,
wanted?
I
You know
like
what
that,
I'm
Louis.
saying?
I think
Like
people, yeah, I agree. I think the media wants to make it look like he's poised and he is this, and he probably is. All those things that they're saying about Jaden, what the fuck you think Baker's back there doing? You just said it. He's a dog. You don't
Baker's
think
been
that
doing this
he's,
shit since week one last week. He's been
yep,
fucking a dog, and a lot of people didn't even expect him to win the starting job with the Buccaneers. You know what I'm saying? Including myself. I said I think it's going to be Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask had a better preseason, whatever, and they wound up putting Baker in there, and I wasn't too sure. But like I said, the day that fucking game against the Minnesota Vikings, when I seen him stiff arm what's his face and say, "Get your weight up, little boy,"
yeah,
I was like, "That's my fucking guy." Okay, and then Minnesota was one of the toughest places to play. You see how loud that place gets,
yep.
and we came out with the W.
Came
And
out
that's
with
when
the
I knew
W.
we were onto something. That's why I said
Yep.
I'm not afraid of playing the Vikings in Minnesota. Been there, done that, won. I'm not afraid of going to Detroit. Been there, done that, won. We have
Facts.
we've won there already.
We
So
won
this
there,
is
and we can do it again. So
yeah,
again, Commanders, Baker is locked and loaded. It's not just Baker, Mike Evans, Levante David, Tristan Wirfs, Via Vea,
Cody
Winfield.
Mauch, my
Yes,
boy Cody Mauch, fucking mauling people at the line.
Yep, and those
No.
guys, other guys I've mentioned, Louis, they've been in this shit before.
Yep.
Well, all of them, Cody Mock, they've been here before. They know
Yep.
what it's like. Your Commanders, your team is a bunch of people that haven't. Yeah, Bobby Wagner, but that was 12 years ago. He don't know what it's like. Lattimore ain't never been there.
No.
And when he did, he got his first round exit by the Bucs.
Here's a key stat before you finish real quick. Let me say this, and this is from a Commanders fan's mouth. This is from Dino, one of my co-hosts on Around the NFL. That whole Commanders team, if you look at that Commanders team, out of 53 starters, I think 3 or 4 of them are original guys from that team. Everybody else came in through the draft and free agency. A lot of shuffling. This team doesn't have the experience together in playoff atmosphere games versus the Tampa Bay Bucs, where it's been the same cast for a long time. It's been the same core of guys: Mike, Levante, Jamel, Antoine, Vita, William Golston. These guys have won a Super Bowl together not that long ago. You look at that Commanders team, I would say 92% of that team is all new faces. And I think they're going to find out the hard way. Like they're how are you going to face adversity? How are you going to face a team with experience like the Buccaneers? What are you going to do, especially with a rookie quarterback? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you're down 14-3? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to handle that? It's going to be tough at Ray J. It really is. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but we have the advantage over there in that aspect where we have a locker room that's been together for a long time. I mean, outside of the new guys like Sterling Shepard, and the rookies, this is a team that's been together for a long time. I don't know, man. I just, it bothers me when I hear people saying, "Oh, well, you guys play in a weak division. You guys struggled against the Panthers. You guys struggled against the Saints." They're fucking division games. Those are dogfights. When you play in a division game, look at that's like, and this is the same people that are rooting for the Bills and stuff. Well, didn't the Bills just lose to the Patriots? Didn't the Bills have a hard time against the Jets and those are division games and nobody says shit about them? This is what I'm talking about. Everybody likes to dick ride these fucking media darling teams all the time.
Well, they don't like to bring up the fact that the Commanders barely beat the Saints this season by 1 point.
Yep, they should have. And yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Nobody talks about that. There's a lot of things that people don't talk about. A lot of people don't talk about how Baker Mayfield fucking fought like a dog with fucking Bosa getting ready to take him down on a 4th and 7, do or die, and throws the ball to fucking Rashad White for a first down. Nobody talks about shit like that. Nobody talks about how on, 3rd and 17, we needed a first down against the Saints. What did Baker do? Tucked the ball and ran, and he got that first down. Nobody talks about that shit. Nobody talks about that. But it's all right, because tonight, y'all going to see. You're going to see.
You're going to see. And I want the final words for you, Louis. Give me your guy that you want to, one guy on offense that you want to see go off, and on defense that you want to see go off.
I want to see Yaya Diaby get 2.5, 3 sacks. 2 sacks. We'll say 2 sacks. I want to see him get 2 sacks in this game. I think it's very, very doable. That front three with Cansey, Vita, and Logan Hall, who I'm starting to become a huge fan of. Like, he's not shown enough in the stat sheet, but what he does, what he's been doing the past couple of weeks has really opened up that defense. I want to see Yaya Diaby really get after Jaden Daniels and put the pressure, because guys like him, who get very close to the quarterback, force the quarterback to throw the ball a little bit early, and that throws off timing, and that creates what? Interceptions, batted balls. And on offense, I want to see Baker Mayfield go off. This is his time to shine. This is his moment. He's not going to get the MVP, but in my opinion, he's the MVP in my opinion, because what he's done for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this whole season, keeping drives alive. I don't see many quarterbacks that would run it on 3rd and 17. I don't see many quarterbacks doing what he's doing. So my 2 guys are Baker Mayfield and Yaya Diaby. I'm saying 28-16, Bucs win. And whoever we got to face, they can get dog walk too.
Amen to that. Well, as you guys hear, Louis, always a pleasure, my man. Be talking
Absolutely.
to you later on this week because you know we're gonna do the aftermath and we gotta talk about it when we win, not if, when we win. So
That's right.
Louis, always a pleasure. Go Bucs, my brother. Be easy.
Go Bucks. Fuck the Saints. Let's go. Fire
All
them
the
cannons,
time.
boys. Let's go.
Fire them cannons. Excellent. Yeah. For my two guys that I want to go off on defense, Antoine Winfield. I say Antoine Winfield because, look, man, we love you, Antoine. You've been a dog for us for the past few years. But once you got that check, been hurting. And I understand if you were truly hurting, cool. But now it's time for you to show your worth and your value. Now it is time to show us why you were paid top dollar, because you were last year the best safety in football. We need that magic back. We need you to be in coverage. We need you to get an interception. We need you to strip the ball. We need you to blitz and get the sack and put Jaden Daniels on his ass. We need that. We need you. Make it happen. Redeem yourself this season. I'm serious on that, Winfield. It's not me doubting you, but I need to see it. When you're on the field, I want your presence to be known. On offense, Bucky. Run that fucking ball, man. Run that rock. Handle your business and make it happen, because you are the engine. Because if you take care of business, that means not only that the defense will be scared, that also means that you can get some rest. Why I say that? Because now Rachaad White can take your place, and now their defense won't really understand, because they know Rachaad White can be a good receiver, but he also can still run. Like, oh shit. And then when Rashad comes in, when he gets out, then Sean Tucker. We want them to understand, oh shit, we can't do anything about this run. We just got to worry about the pass. So with that being said, I have the Bucs getting between 3 to 5 sacks, 1 interception, and I see Baker throwing for at least 2 touchdowns, but I see Bucky getting a touchdown. I see Evans getting a touchdown. I see Evans getting between 60 to 80 yards and a touchdown. With that being said, I see the Bucs winning 34, Commanders 20. Thank you, guys. As always, if you want to, check my YouTube channel out. It's about Bucking Time. You can follow me on there. I always make content. Instagram, AJ Turnup, Twitter, AJ Turnup, TikTok. I'll be doing that for as long as that lasts. But also, again, let's give a shout out to Alf Comiener from the Cañones eFootball podcast. And also, again, shout out to Louis. But I'm about to be out, guys. Handle your business. Get ready. Show support. And go Bucs.
I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes till the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. That's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. you find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.